Let's kick this decade off with a travel bang. Hi, I'm Juliana from The Discoveries Of, and today we're going to be discovering some incredible travel destinations for your 2020 travels. No matter how many times we collectively protest that we simply can't believe it's 2020, that 2019, nay, the last decade has passed in the blink of an eye, the fact still remains that 2020 is here. Now, I don't often get very sentimental or reflective, but I will say that this decade has been a roller coaster. I decided to leave travel writing, went to law school to train and then worked as a lawyer in the City of London, and then threw it all over to become a full-time travel blogger, which is what I've been doing for the past 3 years. Throughout the decade, I've been able to travel to some mind-blowing destinations, and I've chosen my absolute favourites for the places that you should be travelling to in 2020. Kicking off my pick of holiday destinations for 2020 is Mauritius. Mauritius is a drop in the Indian Ocean, an enticing blend of pristine beaches, lush rainforests with waterfalls that look like they've been plucked straight out of Jurassic Park. Oh, and there's a dormant volcano to top it all off. Don't think that Mauritius is all about luxury hotels though. With stunning natural attractions and delicious cuisine, there's a lot to see outside of the resorts. Second up, Cape Town and the Garden Route in South Africa. Starting in Cape Town and winding its way along one of the most incredible stretches of coastline in the world, the Garden Route is an absolute must if you're thinking of doing a 2020 road trip. Why wouldn't you? First, let's start with Cape Town itself. A thriving city ensconced cosily between a series of mountains and the sea. Vibrant neighbourhoods like Bocap and a series of cooler than should be allowed bars and restaurants lure visitors away from the beach, while must visits like the Kirstenbosch Botanical Gardens are jaw-droppingly beautiful. From Cape Town, it just gets better. Truck down to the Cape of Good Hope before moving on to Nisa, Plettenberg Bay, Mossel Bay, and finishing with a safari in Addo Elephant National Park. Oh, and you might as well take a detour to the winelands of Stellenbosch while you're in the area, because who doesn't want to drink delicious wine against the backdrop of epic views? I do. Mexico. It's come as no surprise to those of you who've been following the channel that I would highly recommend Mexico as one of the places that you really should be travelling to in 2020. Now, unlike some of the other destinations, Mexico is obviously a huge country, and so you're never going to be able to see it all in one trip. However, if you have a couple of weeks, I would suggest doing a road trip from Tulum up to Mexico City, and then maybe back again. This is what I did last month, and honestly I had the absolute best time. We went from Tulum to Merida, Campeche, San Cristobal de las Casas, Oaxaca, and then finished up in Mexico City. You can check the video out, I'll link to it here. It was such a cool experience because Tulum, obviously very chilled, very boho, very beautiful. But then going to spots like Merida, which is the capital of the Yucatan Peninsula, very colourful houses, really cool culture, lots of amazing food, and throughout it, honestly, I thought that we were going to be really focusing on the towns, on the destinations, but some of the biggest surprises were just the incredible landscapes that you drive through on a road trip, not to mention the fact that the towns and those surrounding areas are full of culture. There is amazing food and just so much history. So this is why I would say, yes, it's great to go to somewhere like, Cancun or Playa del Carmen for a couple of days on the beach, but really, if you want to go and see some amazing parts of Mexico, hire a car, hit the road, and get on with it. Next up is Denver in the USA. Not been to the Mile High City yet? 2020 is the time to make it happen. Denver is one of the coolest American cities I've ever visited, packed with independent breweries, cool street art, world-class art museums, and you guessed it, some banging restaurants. I'm a big fan of street art, and Denver is packed with it. There's a big concentration of colourful murals and jaw-dropping pieces in the Reno district, or the Rhino district, depending on how you're going to cut it. In fact, every year they host a massive street art festival called Crush Walls that attracts some of the biggest names in street art, as well as nurturing local talent. Next up is the Ecrins National Park in France. Did anyone say curveball? Here's one of the best places to visit in 2020 that I bet you haven't heard of. Not many people outside of France have heard of Ecrins National Park, which is perfectly fine by me, as it's pretty cool to have things all to yourself, except now I'm telling you guys, so I guess the secret's out of the bag. This little enclave in the French Alps is near to Grenoble, which is also a cool destination in its own right. In the winter, it hosts a whole world of skiers and snowboarders, and in the summer, it's a beautiful hiking destination, which is much more my thing. Strap on your hiking boots and poles if you just so happen to be hella clumsy like me, and tackle the thousands of kilometers of hiking trails that wind through the mountains and come with some pretty incredible alpine views. The Algarve in Portugal. From an obscure destination to one that's decidedly, well, less obscure, let's take a jaunt to the Algarve. Forget any thoughts that you have about package holidays and 60s style all-inclusive hotels. There is a different side to the Algarve that you should totally spend time discovering. The Algarve is one of my favourite places to escape from the UK for a sunny break, and it's a cool destination for 2020. Food-wise, the Algarve is a veritable feast. Deep and rich red wines and crisp whites are paired with freshly caught seafood, piri-piri chicken, and hearty stews. But for many, the biggest draw of the Algarve is the beaches, and I can't say I blame them. With some of Europe's most striking coastline, the Algarve isn't short on places to lay your beach towel and soak up the sun's rays. The Lake District, here in the UK. The Lake District isn't exactly a hidden gem either, but it is, in my humble opinion, one of the most beautiful regions in the UK. If you haven't been before, you totally should, and if you have been, you should just go again. Get outside of the madness that is the Lake District in the summer holidays, and you'll be surprised by just how wonderful it is to explore the rugged landscapes and twee villages the area is famed for. Bali in Indonesia. Now, don't say it. Yes, I know that Bali is not a hidden secret, and some parts of it are verging on the edge of over-tourism. But before you go all 2020 world-saving warrior on me, and FYI, I would totally applaud you for that, hear me out. Some parts of Bali are a little too busy for comfort, but guess what? You don't have to go to them. The island is full of cool places, and all it takes is a little bit of research to find them, and you can escape the crowds at the same time. Double thumbs up. I spent a month in Bali last year, and it was a totally magical experience. I learned to cook on organic farms, walk through quiet rice terraces, and generally felt hard for the island. Another handy tip for Bali is to travel during the wet season, which is when it's much quieter and much cheaper. Yes, there will be rain, the clue is in the name, but it rarely rains all day, and it's still Bali, just a little wetter. Nevis is the Caribbean's secret hideaway. Now, I'll level with you. Nevis is the kind of place that royalty escapes to on the down low. The UK's very own Princess Diana used to holiday here. But it still takes everything in its easygoing, laid back, take it as you see it stride. Nevis is only 16 square miles, but what it lacks in size, it makes up for in pretty much else. Delicious Caribbean food? Check. Gorgeous beaches? Check. Discreet 5-star hotels where you can live your best life? Check. There's even an extinct volcano that you can climb if the Caribbean chill vibes overwhelm you. FYI, this would totally be John, not me. I'm totally fine sitting on the beach and drinking the island's legendary Killer Bee cocktails at Sunshine's Beach Bar. Iceland. I can feel you drawing breath, starting to shout the word over-tourism in my face, and that's fine. Hell, if I was going to suggest that you go to Iceland in the peak summer months, sticking to all of the hot spots on the south coast, like Gullfoss, Selfoss, Vix, Black Sand Beach, I would shout at me too. I really would. As with Bali above, there are plenty of spots in Iceland that aren't suffering from over-tourism, so you should either focus on going to those or think about going in the quieter months of May and September. I've been in both and I can attest to the fact that it is gorgeous and there is no threat of you being stampeded by the camera-wielding masses, which is a bonus. What's more, if you go in late September, there's even a chance of you seeing the Northern Lights, as this is when the viewing season starts. In other words, don't just write off one of the most incredible destinations that you can travel to. Get inventive about it and you will still have a great time. So there we are, my pick of destinations for you to travel to in 2020. What do you think? Where are the places that you think that people shouldn't be missing from their 2020 travel bucket list? Really have problems saying that. Drop a message in the comments below. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell for cool updates and discovering new destinations every Monday. This is Juliana from the Discoveries of, and I hope you guys have an awesome 2020.